So I'm back with another late game standard test. So we're trying a bunch of different strategies to see what three towers would be good for going late game. Note that this is for getting as high round as possible. This is not for trying to outlast an opponent in an arena or something. They are completely different things because one expects you to be rushed, the other does not, and that changes how you play the game completely. Oh, not completely, but changes the techniques and what you can get away with. So yeah, that's a big difference. So I wouldn't recommend using these as like a definitive answer for what should I go in a Bonanza arena or something like that, because it doesn't make sense, because you won't ever have a scenario where, well, you probably won't ever have a scenario where both of you are using 1-3 ice shards to stall the rounds for an insane amount of time. That's just not really going to happen in most games, and that's unrealistic, and it wouldn't happen. You also wouldn't have a game where someone's not going to rush you with ZMGs probably when they're about to lose, even if it's play with fire, which is funny. Anyways, so this here is an example of that, a prime example, because it just wouldn't happen. Anyways, I'm going Ice, Chipper, Super, and then of course farm for a source of income. I can go Sniper, I just don't, because I want to prove that I'm not using Sniper as a defensive tower at all. So yeah, also tier 0 powers and no tower boosts, so that's fine. No track powers either, so you know all of this is pretty much just how far the defense gets and my own ability. So the Super obviously is for deep damage late game. We're going to have tempos, we're going to have tech towers, we're going to be on close targeting because it's Bloons circles. Again, you're not going to be playing on Bloons circles probably in arenas. If you're going supers, you're not going to use close targeting, because this is only for Bloons circles where it has been tested and pretty well established that close targeting is one of the better targetings to go with on Bloons circles. Okay, so next up is Ice Tower. That's a sacrifice, of course, and it's a stall, so you can half the speed, well, almost half the speed, 45% stall on all ZMGs and under, so that's great. That just buys you a bit more time. That's always nice to have. And then the last thing is Chipper. So Chipper has two ways it can be used. There's the super vac ability, well, a few ways. So super vac ability, which can target BFBs and under. It can hold them all for a certain amount of time, and then you can use another and hold them again. So with BFBs, that's 4 seconds. With Moabs and under, that is 8 seconds, the full thing. So you can pretty much just activate the ability every 4 seconds, and that'll work. Issue is, so if you're microing, that's fine, because what you do is you activate the ability, you wait 4 seconds, you sell and rebuy, and activate the ability again. If you are using 12 super vacs like I am, you can actually get away with 10. I just use 12 for a margin of error and safety and comfort. What you do is you use the ability every 4 seconds, but the BFBs will be sucked in for 4 seconds, and then they're able to move freely for 4 seconds while the chip ability is still active. So it's not 100% star for BFBs, it's only 50% star, which is still pretty good. It's just not as good, and it's something you need to remember. So those are the two ways you can use chip ability. So because of that, obviously micro is objectively better, but in practice it can be not as great, because you have to micro it, meaning that that's focused away from other things like ice abilities, tech tower abilities, or just you could mess up, because it's in late game it becomes a test of endurance. You're no longer playing for a few minutes. You're playing for tens of minutes, up to an hour, and you need to keep that ability up constantly, otherwise you could die, and that's not a great thing you could do if you a great thing to do for consistency. Otherwise you could just die because you messed up, you didn't sell the chipper ability, you sold a tempo, you just were slow at time, you're getting tired, you lost focus, whatever. There's so many reasons why microing is not a great thing for late game. Anyways, and the other way is, of course, is Omni Shredder. So this can target ZMGs and not under now. and it will star the balloons it'll apply a 25% star to the balloons while inside the chipper, and also it will just fully stun the ZMGs pretty much while it's doing the animation to be sucked in or being spat out. So it's actually better than a 25% star. It's nearer to 47%, I believe, and that's good, I guess. The main issue is, of course, it makes it very difficult to track the chipper. Makes it very difficult to track the progress of balloons because everything's been sucked in and spit out, and it makes it very hard to follow where the balloons are because the angles also change. So you kind of have to watch the balloons as they spit out to see where they're going to land on the track, and that makes it kind of awkward to see where you are in progress and how much you need to do. For example, in this game, I forgot to use Tech Tower abilities, so that's not great, but hey, it is what it is. I still got further than Glue Eyes Super. I got round 114, which is something noteworthy, so this would do better, but again, in arenas, that wouldn't be the case because for every chip ZMG you send, I need to have a chipper for it. So that means I'd need to have, when you send infinite ZMGs, I need an infinite amount of chippers. And that's not happening. You can't have an infinite amount of chippers, both because it would take an infinite amount of time, and I wouldn't have an infinite amount of space. So yeah, I know like round 120, I'd have around 20 ZMGs, so I only got around 20 chippers, both top and bottom, because range issues. So that's all I needed. But yeah, so I had chippers on strong target, Omni Shredder on strong targeting for the ZMGs. I had the Super Vac on first because I wanted to hold back any balloons that were escaping, and then everything else was on close targeting for damage. The chippers were also placed inside the circles as much as possible. This was to focus the damage towards the center of the circles, and this would allow for just more optimizing Pierce so that I could make the most out of my defense and deal as much damage as possible to the entire group. I don't need to focus on one balloon. If I focus on one ZMG and that pops, that's great, but still the rest of them, I need to focus on the entire group. I can only survive if I pop the entire round, otherwise I die. That's just how it is. If you don't pop everything, something leaks and you die. So here we are, round 113. You'll see what happened, I think, is a BFB got further than I was expecting. I didn't see it. If I did, I obviously would have used the super abilities, but I just didn't realize I was that close to dying, so I didn't use any abilities at all yet. So yeah, I could have gotten a couple of rounds further. But the Tech Tower ability adds 16 damage per second, which is not a lot. It's about about 3/8 of the Tech Tower DPS now because of its nerf, but it's not a lot. It's something. It might have added a round or two, but it's not like noteworthy to go, yes, this is going to change it so that I would get like round 130 or something. It's minor. It would increase the round, but not too much to be too much of a concern of like it was an absolute fail of an attempt. So that's why I'm sharing this here. You can see it going along. The next round starts because it popped all the ZMGs. You can see all the Moabs. I thought it was just Moabs near the end, but apparently there's a BFB right at the exit. I did not see it, and so I died. And that's fine. Around 114. See you next time. Bye.